3 weeks. That's how long I spent planning Rachel's birthday party. Every single detail mattered to me because she mattered to me. Or at least, I thought she did. I'm Michael, and after 6 years of marriage, I wanted to show Rachel how much I loved her. The venue? A beautiful restaurant downtown that cost me $2,000 just to reserve. The guest list? 40 people, including all her friends, family, and co-workers. The cake? A custom 3-tier masterpiece that set me back $300. But it wasn't about the money. It was about seeing that spark in her eyes again, the one that had been missing for months. Rachel had been distant lately, always staying late at work, always talking about projects with her new colleague, David. When I asked about her day, she'd give me one-word answers. When I suggested date nights, she was always too tired. I convinced myself that this party would fix everything. One perfect evening would remind her why we fell in love. I hired a live band, arranged for flowers at every table, and even commissioned a photo montage of our best memories together. The total? Nearly $4,000. Worth every penny if it brought my wife back to me. The morning of the party, Rachel barely looked up from her phone while I ran around making final preparations. The flowers arrived, I announced, hoping for some excitement. She mumbled, fingers flying across her screen. Who are you texting? I asked, trying to keep my voice light. Just work stuff with David. He's helping me prepare for Monday's presentation. David. Always David. I'd met him once at her office Christmas party. Tall, confident, with that easy smile that made everyone gravitate toward him. Rachel had introduced us briefly, but I noticed how her whole demeanor changed around him. She laughed louder, stood straighter, seemed more alive. It's Saturday, Rachel. Can't work wait? She finally looked up, irritation flashing in her eyes. Some of us have important projects, Michael. Not everyone can coast through their job. The word stung, but I pushed the feeling down. Tonight would be different. Tonight would be perfect. As guests began arriving, I watched Rachel transform. She was radiant, greeting everyone with genuine warmth. For a moment, I felt hopeful. Then David walked in, and everything changed. Her face lit up in a way it hadn't for me in months. The party was everything I dreamed it would be. The music was perfect, the food was exceptional, and everyone was having a wonderful time. I moved through the crowd, making sure drinks were full and conversations were flowing, but my eyes kept drifting to Rachel and David. They stood together by the window, deep in conversation, completely absorbed in each other. She threw her head back laughing at something he said, her hand briefly touching his arm. My stomach twisted, but I forced myself to focus on being the perfect host. Michael, this is incredible, Rachel's sister Lisa said, pulling me aside. You've really outdone yourself. Rachel's so lucky to have you. I smiled, but the words felt hollow. Lucky? Rachel hadn't said a single word of appreciation to me all evening. She hadn't even acknowledged the effort I'd put into everything. As dinner concluded, I felt a mix of pride and growing unease. The party was a success by every measure, but something felt wrong. Rachel seemed more interested in impressing David than celebrating with me. Every story she told, every joke she made, she directed toward him first, seeking his reaction before anyone else's. The time came for the traditional birthday speech, and I assumed Rachel would thank everyone, maybe say something special about the party I'd organized. I was wrong. Part 4, the public humiliation. Rachel stood up, wine glass in hand, looking radiant under the soft restaurant lighting. The room fell quiet as everyone turned their attention to her. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight, she began, her voice warm and confident. This year has been challenging for me, both personally and professionally, but I've been blessed with incredible support. I smiled, waiting for her to mention the party, the planning, something about us. I especially want to thank David, she continued, turning toward him with a smile that made my chest tight. You've been such an amazing mentor and friend. When I doubted myself, you believed in me. When I felt lost, you helped me find my way. You've shown me what it means to have someone truly understand and support your dreams." The room erupted in polite applause. David raised his glass with a modest smile. I stood frozen, my own glass trembling in my hand. She talked about her career growth, her new confidence, her exciting projects. David's name came up 3 more times. Mine? Not once. Not a single word about the party, the planning, or the husband who had just spent $4,000 to celebrate her existence. I felt the blood drain from my face as the reality hit me. This wasn't just thoughtlessness. This was deliberate. In front of 40 people, my wife had just made it crystal clear who mattered in her life, and it wasn't me. As the applause died down and conversations resumed, I excused myself to the restroom. In the mirror, I barely recognized the man staring back at me. When had I become so invisible in my own marriage? I pulled out my phone and opened our banking app. Our joint account showed the recent party expenses: venue, catering, flowers, band, cake. $4,237. Money we'd saved together for our future, now spent on a celebration where I was treated like hired help. The bathroom door opened, and David walked in. "Great party, man," he said casually, washing his hands. "Rachel's incredible, isn't she? So passionate about her work. We've been collaborating on some really exciting projects." Something in his tone, the way he said collaborating, made my decision for me. I wasn't going to stand there and pretend this was normal. I wasn't going to smile and nod while my marriage crumbled around me. I walked back to the table where Rachel was laughing with David and 2 other coworkers, completely absorbed in their conversation. She didn't even notice me approach. "Rachel," I said quietly, "I need to speak with you." "Not now, Michael. We're discussing the Morrison campaign." "Now," I repeated, my voice firmer. She looked up, annoyed. "What's so urgent that it can't wait?" "I'm leaving." "What do you mean, leaving?" Rachel's voice carried a note of irritation rather than concern. "I mean, I'm going home. Enjoy the rest of your party." I turned to walk away, but her hand caught my arm. "You can't just leave, Michael. These are our guests." "Your guests," I corrected. "You made that pretty clear in your speech." For the first time all evening, I had her full attention. David and the others had stepped back, sensing the tension. "Don't be ridiculous." I thanked everyone. "Everyone except your husband, the one who planned this entire evening, the one who spent over $4,000 to make tonight special for you." Her face flushed. "I didn't ask you to spend that much." "No, you didn't ask for anything. You don't talk to me about anything anymore, but you certainly have plenty to say to David." I could see the guilt and anger warring in her expression, but I was beyond caring about her feelings. I pulled out my phone and quickly transferred the money from our joint savings account to my personal account. "What are you doing?" "Taking back what's mine. If I'm not worth acknowledging, then I'm not worth sharing finances with either." The transfer completed with a soft chime. For years of careful saving, now safely away from someone who saw me as nothing more than a convenient ATM. Rachel's eyes widened as she realized what I'd done. "Michael, you can't just." "I already did. Enjoy your celebration." "Rachel, send David the bill." I walked out of that restaurant with my dignity intact for the first time in months. Behind me, I heard Rachel calling my name, but I didn't turn around. Sometimes the only way to be heard is to stop talking and start acting. The cool night air felt like freedom as I got in my car and drove away from the party I'd paid for but never truly attended.